Chicago's Progressive Talk.
With round-the-clock protection at a great price, your Progressive policy works the way it's supposed to, unlike this unenthusiastic hype man.
Okay, everybody, let's make some noise. Put your hands up. Or not. It's your call. Here we go now. Here we go.
Switch to Progressive today.
It is electric in here.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday. You're a veteran who served our country and can use a VA loan to either purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, but you don't know who you can trust. Team Hochberg respects your service and has VA loan experts available right now to answer your questions and help you secure a VA loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners secure VA loans, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
NBC News Radio, I'm Dina Kodiak. National Institutes of Health Director Dr. Francis Collins says there's no evidence to suggest that the new Omicron variant is any more deadly than the other forms of the coronavirus. Appearing on CNN's State of the Nation, Dr. Collins said it'll take 2 to 3 weeks to study its effects in South Africa. The NIH director called the appearance of a new variant an opportunity to redouble efforts to fight the pandemic. Dr. Collins noted boosters worked particularly well against other COVID variants, and he urged all eligible adults to get their booster shots. Americans are being advised to avoid travel to 8 countries in Africa. The State Department issued do not travel warnings because of the new COVID variant. Scott Carr has more.
The new Omicron variant of COVID-19 is being detected in more European countries. Italy, Germany, and the UK are all reporting cases of the new strain, and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's announced steps to contain it. The UK among the nations already enforcing travel bans. U.S. travel restrictions kick in tomorrow for 8 African nations, and Israel is banning all foreigners from entering that country at the start of Hanukkah.
Governor Greg Abbott is guaranteeing that the lights will stay on in Texas this winter. This promise follows a near collapse of the state's electrical system last February that affected more than 4 million customers. Abbott said that he was very confident after signing nearly a dozen laws to make the power grid more effective. Power generators across the state must notify the Public Utility Commission about winter weatherization plans by December 1st. Inspections are set to begin in January.
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus.
Santa Claus will be riding in the 89th annual Holiday Christmas Parade tonight. This year's Grand Marshal is the talk co-host Cheryl Underwood. Other celebrities expected to ride in the parade include 70s pop stars Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr., The Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, and Leave It to Beaver stars Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow. The parade kicks off at 6 p.m. this evening. Last year's parade was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You've asked for her. Now we got her. Comedian and talk show host Patty Vasquez. Live every weeknight from 5 to 6 p.m.
And as you would imagine, that would mean that folks want to call in and join the conversation.
Driving it home with Patty Vasquez.
Look, we want to be out. We want to gather and have a good time.
On WCPT 820.
Amy Goodman reports on the news stories rarely covered by the corporate media.
In Chile, security forces shot dead 2 indigenous Mapuche leaders during clashes in the province of Arauco. The southern coastal region has been under a state of emergency, with the Chilean government deploying 2,000 soldiers to the region as it attempts to suppress the Mapuche community and their fight to recover their ancestral lands.
Democracy Now!, weekday evenings at 11 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
A new season is the perfect time to change up your look. And luckily, 21 Days of Beauty is happening now at Ulta Beauty. Snag daily beauty steals of 50% off the must-haves from brands like IT Cosmetics and Benefit. And discover new Gotta Have It launches from brands like Jacquez Cosmetics and Tula. Experience the thrill of finding new faves during beauty's biggest event. But hurry, this event ends September 18th. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Welcome to Out Chicago. Scott Duff along with Ellen Milner.
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving weekend and happy first night of Hanukkah.
Yes, first night of Hanukkah.
Yeah. So there we go. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. I had a great weekend, and, so far so good. People are healthy. People are happy.
Fabulous. Love healthy and happy people.
How about you?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little pooped.
Yeah,
It's been a busy weekend.
A little late last night. We were talking, but
Yes. I wasn't not too late, but Mama's been working.
Oh no.
Mama needs to sit down. Mama needs to sit down. But you know what's going to rejuvenate me? Is
what?
Today's show. It's a fabulous show. We're so grateful that you are here with us today. Rainbow Railroad is a North American nonprofit organization. It's headquartered in Toronto and New York, and they help LGBTQI plus people seek safe haven from state-led violence and persecution in countries where homosexuality and diverse expressions of gender identity are criminalized. We're going to be speaking with Bruce Koff, who is the vice chair of the Rainbow Railroad Board of Directors. Later on this hour, they're getting ready to have a benefit concert called When I Am Free that's happening on December 3rd.
Fantastic.
Yes, we get to find out about their incredible work that Rainbow Railroad does and what we can do to help them out. Also, we're going to be speaking with award-winning author William Jack Sibley about his new book. Here we go, loop to loop. And of course, I left the book at home. I'm sad, but it's really good. It's fun. It's kind of like it's filled with quirky characters, and it feels like you get a little slice of life in a small town in Texas, and little ranchers going on. Sexy too. It's super duper fun.
Sure.
And of course, now that Thanksgiving is past, that means it's the holidays full steam ahead. And Love Actually, the unauthorized musical parody, is now playing at the Apollo Theater. We're going to be speaking with a couple of the cast members, Danielle Plehall and Christopher Weyland, later on in the show. And of course, we would love to hear from you, so give us a call at 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. Of course, you can find us on Facebook, where we are coming at you live. You can go to Out Chicago Radio, and while you're there, why not give us a like? And if you like that, you can go to WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, and watch us there. And while you're at it, why not follow WCPT on all social media at WCPT820 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the TikToks. Oh, Ellen, you and your pies were making me drool over the Thanksgiving weekend.
We weren't assigned a lot from my brother and his partner hosted Thanksgiving. My sister was there, Kathy and me, and he said, "You want to bring a pecan pie?" And I love pecan pies. And instead of doing the typical...
Would you like to partake of my pecan pie?
But, the recipe I've used over the years has dark and light corn syrup. And, I've made that, and it's always very good. But I thought I'd try and elevate it a little bit, and I found a New York Times recipe.
Always good.
That did not use any corn syrup. It used honey and maple syrup, along with the brown sugar and the butter.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was a hit. It's really sweet, but it's really good. And
dang, what did you use to cut it? Ice cream?
We used whipped cream. We used just plain whipped cream.
Oh, no sugar on there?
No, because it was
sweet. It sounds sweet. It sounds delicious.
And I had an extra crust left over, and I was going to a dinner party last night with 6 lesbians. What do you know what you get when you have 6 lesbians that go to a dinner party and one of them brings a banjo?
A softball team?
Oh, hoot nanny! Oh my God, that's why I'm tired. We had
that's
a hoot
awesome.
nanny. I brought my guitar too, and we sat.
So you had a guitar and a banjo?
2 guitars and a banjo.
You were a frickin' jug band.
We were.
That's what it was.
It was
you
fun.
You were a jug band, which
stayed up a little later than we wanted to.
The namesake of my dog, Emmett Otter.
Oh, Emmett
Otter and his jug band Christmas. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you were Emmett Otter.
So anyway, I made another pie yesterday. I made a coconut cream pie.
Which also looked very good.
It was.
Thank you for bringing it in. I appreciate it.
You know what? You don't like. You told me you do not like sweets.
I'm not a sweets person.
There's so many times. I guess I could bring it in for Devin.
Well, too late. Too late for that.
Yeah, you know what? There'll be more baking in my future.
Devin, we'll hook you up, Devin.
So yeah, Thanksgiving. It's like, but I have to ask you, Scott. I have a rule.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a rule. I'm not one of these people like, throws a lot of rules around, But I do have a rule about Thanksgiving and Christmas. I do not believe in illuminating any Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed. I'm with you on that.
People really are jumping the gun these last couple. I know it's a pandemic.
It's a pandemic. I know last year definitely was like, we're going to throw that tree up. We need a little Christmas right this
Halloween,
very minute.
like right after Halloween.
Yeah, like, here we go. Here we go.
But Kathy did put them up because the weather was good. But I said, honey, we can't turn them on until after. I mean, Friday, fine.
That's great. My sister has the exact same thing.
See?
Yep.
Your sister's cool.
My sister is very cool. I'm the same way. And actually, this year we had out of town guests come in. We had two of our dear friends who are basically our family.
Yes.
Drive up from Memphis. It was just the four of us. We made food for 24. It is absolutely ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know what we're going to do with these leftovers.
Freeze them.
I know. And both of them are like, they're really, really conscious. They're trying to be really healthy eaters, but they they've said, nope, this weekend, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, great, we've got some leftovers to send back with you. They're like, no, because it's back on.
Oh, they're serious.
And I'm like, oh, man. So I don't even know what to do. But yeah, we've had... where was I going with this? We had a bunch of people come in for Thanksgiving. Where was I going?
The Christmas lights and the holiday lights.
Oh, that's it. So, okay. So one of the wonderful things about my partner, Jerry, is that when we have company coming over, his mom takes over his body and he shifts into like Southern...
Susie
Homemaker and must deep clean everything. I'm like, all right, cool, go. But this time he decided that I'm like, oh dear Lord. I'm texting my friends Cecilia and Kevin. I'm like, oh no, it's happening. This thing. She's like, they're like, why are you doing it? He doesn't need to do anything because he was going very extreme. We're talking picking up knickknacks.
And cleaning
them, like love it, like spending like 20 minutes on a knickknack. It's very strange. But then when I was walking the dog and I had to call them, like, just to let you know, it's happening. The great cleansing is happening, and then when I walked in, he's like, all right, I need you to help me move furniture. I'm like, wait, what? So we rearranged all the furniture in our house.
Oh, just time to rearrange, not just for cleaning.
Yeah,
just
no, it's like to rearrange and everything. I'm like, okay, cool. And now I like it so much, but we've got this gigantic 12-foot Christmas tree. And where we move things is where the tree usually goes. And I'm like, I don't want to have to move it. So we might not put up our giant tree this year.
We haven't put a big tree up in years.
Well,
you guys do. And
I love my tree. And usually my tree stays up through March because...
Yes, it does. I can attest to that.
Because I like
through Valentine's Day.
No, it goes through March.
Yeah.
Like usually mid-March because I like the glow.
Yeah,
I think there's something...
And it's winter, and why not
it's winter time and make myself feel happy.
Bright.
It's a twinkly. It's huge. It puts off a beautiful light within the place. But Jerry's going to be gone this winter, and we're trying to figure out, like, if we put it up, we're going to have to take it.
Who's going to take it down?
Yeah, so I think we've got a smaller tree. We've got our great aluminum tree that I think we might just do the small aluminum tree.
Well, at least you have options.
We do have options. We do. But but it's one of those. Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It feels
weird.
It's
one of those holiday dilemmas, but they're good ones usually.
They are.
Which tree to put up and how big, and
I guess
which room to put the tree in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got one room. Yeah, right. We've got one very large room. Is what it is. But so it's. I don't know. I'm excited for the holidays. To be kicking in. Just still trying to figure out what our game plan is, just in terms of how we're celebrating here, in terms of doing any of your, any traveling that's happening. We're trying to figure all that stuff out right now.
We're going to go to Tennessee like we usually do to spend time with Kathy's folks. They are recovering from COVID.
Oh, no.
Both of them. Sadly, the only place they go is like the doctor's office and to a little place for breakfast, and they're both vaccinated.
Oh, bummer.
So they're getting better.
But Tennessee is also one of those states that does not have mask regulations.
Yes.
Were they wearing masks?
Probably not.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of the things. Like, that, again, we had our friends from Tennessee, and they were like, oh, I hope I don't get COVID coming out. I'm like, oh. It's like, okay, it's good to be, cautious, but, we have mask mandates in here. People are masked. You have to wear masks inside everywhere, so I think it'll be okay.
The Christmas, you bring the holiday party thing up. We used to have often have a neighbors on our block. We do an open house, and we were going to do it this year. In the summer, it all seemed great, and now that we're all inside, I'm like, Kathy's like, I think we need to wait another year. And I agree. My question is to our listeners, maybe give us a call. If you're invited to a holiday party, are you going to ask if vaccinations are required? Because I know when we go to theater now,
heck yeah.
When we go to concerts now, when we go to even to clubs, you have to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. But how do you gently ask people, I know you invited me to your party, but just checking, will everybody be vaccinated?
Absolutely.
And if they say, I think most of the people will be, that means that they didn't. I would put a mandate if I was doing a party that you have to be vaccinated.
100%.
But I wonder if others are doing that.
I don't know.
Give us a call. Let us know. We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, how are you handling the holidays now that we're kind of
in it? And kind of getting through, but we still have a mask mandate indoors.
Well, because there's a brand new variant that they discovered and everything.
Omicron. They're ruining my Greek alphabet with all this.
They
negativity.
Are ruining your Greek alphabet in a big way. Yeah. No, but I think that's a great idea because also, 1 month from today is my birthday.
Oh, the big
birthday. Yes, the big 50. That's happening, and I don't know what to do.
A party.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what exactly to do. Like Kathy said, maybe skip a year. So I'm not quite sure. We're trying to figure everything out. I think I've got a show coming up on December 19th, and I think I might make that kind of like, hey, come to this to celebrate my birthday because it's in a venue where masks and vaccines are required.
Is it like a Wednesday night or?
It'll be it's a Sunday night. So it'll be the 19th at the Venus Cabaret Theater.
Oh.
So I figure and I've got the lineup is great and filled with some of my fun comics. I'm like, well, let's turn this into a little birthday celebration. So I think I might do that.
That's a nice idea.
And we're debating going somewhere for the actual birthday, but it's weird because it's like on a Tuesday and it's right.
You could do what I did when I had a last big birthday. My birthday was in April and the big trip was in September, just because, and it wasn't even COVID.
Right.
So when you have a big birthday, I think the rule is it's basically a whole year celebration.
Oh, definitely.
So if you need to move that trip a few months, no big deal.
Well, I don't think it wasn't going to be a big trip. It'd be like to go to Memphis or maybe visit our friend in Seattle. We're just trying to figure, but here's the thing. So I've got a new survival job, and I don't know about time off.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to navigate the whole time off situation, which is hard because I'm trying to keep myself as wide open and show them look at how flexible I am. That sort of play.
Especially you're starting out.
Yeah, starting out. So, but I think there's a possibility that I'm could get 3 or 4 days off. And I'm like, we could drive to Memphis, celebrate there with our Memphis peeps, and then come back. But if I do that, I think I might hurt my sister's feelings about not going there for Christmas because I don't think we're going to be able to travel for Christmas. Yeah. You know what I mean? What do you do? I don't know. I would love to hear from you. So give us a call, 773-763-9278. How do you handle holiday traveling and holiday plans when it comes to your family members and, not juggling your work schedule versus your friend? How do you do it? I don't know.
It's always tough, no matter, even when we don't have a pandemic. It's hard to navigate,
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out all of that stuff. Or you can, chime in on Facebook.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Or hopefully, are we coming at you live?
We're coming at you live on WCPT820.com.
Cool. Oh, now we're
even on the Out Chicago too.
There we are.
Everywhere. Look at that.
We are everywhere. There we are. But yeah, I would love. I need some help. I really do. Especially nowadays when we have this the new variant Omicron has happened. The details are coming out that it's pretty infectious. It also what we know so far. I mean, again, this is still kind of brand new and everything.
Kind of brand new.
So just so you know, the U.S. is putting travel restrictions in place in response to this new variant. They found it in a couple of countries in South Africa. It's also been found in Hong Kong, UK, Germany, Israel. There are different places across that are popping up. They're saying that it does seem to be a little bit more infectious, like the people who have natural immunity, meaning people who've had coronavirus, they might be susceptible to it. So hey, get your vaccines. Get your vaccines. Get your vaccines. Please get your vaccines.
And then get your boosters.
So, there's still kind of there is some concern about it, but again, it's still really early. There's no need to panic.
Right.
Let's not jump to doomsday things, although it's very easy to do.
Yes, it is.
Just remember, let's wait till all the facts come out and see what's going on, as they're discovering there's still not enough data collected for people to know what is going on with this new variant. They have there are some travel restrictions that the U.S. is putting into place. I know there are some that are happening in Europe as well. They're saying that even as of Saturday, that there were no cases of Omicron identified here in the United States.
Right.
But of course, it'd be silly for us to not think that it's here.
Well, people are now traveling. I've talked to so many people coming back from Europe and all over where they're actually enjoying it because there's not a lot of tourists. But, once that starts, things will be transmitted, I have a feeling. Someone's going to pop up here with a case or two. They are still, as you said, trying to answer a lot of questions about it. But we do have the mask mandate. It's just further it backs up the reason to continue to have, wear masks indoors.
Yeah, it's the mask mandate, while slightly annoying, they protect you.
And I know when I walked Maggie outside yesterday in our little 3-mile walk, I don't generally wear a mask outside, but I'm wearing it just because
it's so darn cold.
Because it keeps my face warm. For years, I've loved wearing those mask things because I just hate having my face cold. Now I can do it and look like I'm real responsible.
Look at you,
and keeping warm.
Look at you, good citizen. You are a good citizen.
I try. Yeah. I think a lot of people were wearing them yesterday just to keep warm outside because outside,
it's
the wind. Yeah,
it's dipping. It's dipping, kids. We're in it. But here's the thing. It's Chicago. It gets cold.
It does.
And I know that one of our favorite pastimes in Chicago is complaining about how cold it is.
Yes, it is.
But I know, but we live here. You chose to live here.
Right.
This happens every year. Embrace it. Like I said, get your hookah on.
That's right.
That's what we did on Thanksgiving Day. We got up and we started a fire right away. I had to get in my car and go.
Inside or out?
Inside.
Oh, inside, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. We've got a wood-burning fireplace, so I had to leave and go find more firewood somewhere. But I'm like, I will gladly do it.
You a firewood guy. You got to...
I've got it. I'm just waiting. Of course, they're all backed up right now because...
there's demand.
There's demand.
It's cold.
Yeah, and I didn't think ahead of time to do that.
You and everybody else.
Yes, of course. But
it's always nice to have a fire.
Yeah, embrace that. Be with the folks that you love, especially if you know that they're vaccinated and safe and acting responsibly. Come on in. Get all snuggly, cute, and toasty. Have some food.
I love that. Nothing better than sitting by a fire with friends and maybe even having a hootenanny along the way.
Even having a big old lesbian hootenanny along the way. I wish I could have been a part of that lesbian hootenanny. What kind of music were you singing?
Oh, we did everything from some tradition. We ended with Goodnight Irene, but we did things like we did some Dylan, we did Neil Young, we did Indigo Girls, we did Circle Game.
It goes round and round and round in the circle game.
We did, God, I can't even remember.
See, that's good because the people that I was with, they all busted out into a sing-along, but it was all...
Broadway shows?
No, it was Southern spirituals. And I was like, Southern Baptist songs. I'm like, stop it! So yes, there's the difference between a lesbian hootenanny and a bunch of gays from the South. Anyway, we need to take a quick break. But before we go, this part about Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are looking to purchase a new home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Guess what? It's our good friend Dahlia. She's 27. She's a nurse. She's got an income of $80,000 a year. She's purchasing her first home.
Nice.
Now, look, Dahlia did what a lot of young people do. She talked with an online lender who didn't answer her questions. So she called Mom. Mom has all the answers.
Sure.
And Dahlia's mom recommended that she contact Team Hochberg, the only lender she trusted to help her only daughter finance her first home. Now, Team Hochberg answered Dahlia's questions, talked her off the ledge multiple times, probably with some Southern Baptist spirituals. Probably not.
Why not?
That. No, you never know. But talked her off the ledge during the process and secured that mortgage on Dahlia's first home. Now, let's review. Dahlia first contacted an online lender who didn't answer her questions. Then, based on her mom's recommendation, she called Team Hochberg, who held Dahlia's hand throughout the entire process and successfully helped her secure the mortgage on her first home. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of WCPT listeners, our listeners' children and grandchildren, secure mortgages on new homes like Dahlia, but they can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. The number again is 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061. We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about we lost Stephen Sondheim, an icon, somebody who changed the face of the American theater, passed away this week, Stephen Sondheim. So we'll be chatting about that when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. In the 1980s, the AIDS crisis killed thousands of Americans in gay communities, and under President Reagan, the epidemic went unaddressed. To raise awareness, the political group ACT UP decided they needed something big to urge the government and the drug companies to take action. This created the form of protest known today as die-ins, where protesters lay on the ground playing dead to show how dangerous things can be if action is not taken. ACT UP's first die-in took place on October 11th, 1988, outside the Food and Drug Administration building. Some protesters held tombstone signs over their bodies with sayings such as, "Dead from lack of drugs," "Victim of FDA red tape," "Killed by the FDA and never had a chance." After the protest, it took the FDA less than a year to approve drugs to help battle the AIDS virus. ACT UP's die-ins continued throughout the country, taking place outside the Center of Disease Control, outside Wall Street, and outside the vacation home of President George Bush. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
We've all been spending more time indoors than usual, but FinishingChicago.com has an offer to update your interior. Whether your space is residential or commercial, for a limited time you can save up to 25% on painting and decorating. FinishingChicago.com has the most dynamic interior spaces available from industry-leading union craftspeople. That's union quality, efficiency, and industry-leading expertise in your home or commercial space. Visit FinishingChicago.com to find a contractor in your area. This unprecedented access to union quality labor at a reduced rate is only available for a limited time. Revitalize your spaces with fine decorative upgrades applied by the most knowledgeable craftspeople in the industry. Whether it's a new color or transforming your walls into something truly special, our contractors have all the options. Take advantage of FinishingChicago.com's Update Your Interior savings before they're gone. For up to 25% off your new finish, start with FinishingChicago.com.
Hi, this is Jason Bissell from Chicago Community Acupuncture at Milwaukee, Devon, and Nagel in Chicago. The first thing the National Institutes of Health concluded acupuncture could actually treat was chemotherapy-induced nausea. This is back in 1997. Since then, research has shown that it can reduce or eliminate all of the side effects of chemo and radiation: fatigue, neuropathy, pain, dry mouth, and most importantly, impairment to the immune system. It should absolutely be a part of everyone's cancer care regimen. All the top hospitals use it, including Memorial Sloan Kettering, where I was the first acupuncturist to serve as a postdoctoral fellow. If you're battling cancer, we can help. People who get acupuncture along with standard care have fewer side effects, greater quality of life, greater survival times, and greater survival rates. And at Chicago Community Acupuncture, we charge about half of what others charge. Call us at 773-853-0920, 773-853-0920, or go to ChiComAcu.com. ChiComacu.com.
I'm filmmaker Stephen Cohn. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller as we roll along on this Sunday after Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm still mouth breathing.
Over.
From all the food.
Oh, yeah.
From all the food I ate. I know. I was like, oh, I even had a turkey sandwich this morning.
We had turkey sandwiches Friday and Saturday. They were delicious, and then it's all gone now.
Oh, I need to bring some in because we have a lot of food.
You had a lot of turkey too?
We had a lot of turkey too.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, we had a lot of. I made pecan waffles Thanksgiving morning. I just had them.
You did everything pecans.
I was like,
you're nuts about
maple
nuts.
syrup, and I also did candied sweet potatoes. The candy.
Girl,
I know, sugar coma.
Make sure that you have some leafy greens and a lot of water here. You know, that's
sugar. It's been a lot of sugar.
It's been a lot of sugar. Yeah.
But it's in the past now.
You know, there is something that is kind of sweet that happened last week too. Yes. Hey, the three white men who chased down and killed Ahmaud Arbery were found guilty of murder charges.
Yeah, it was good to hear.
Oh,
you just never know in this country when justice is going to show up or not, and it did.
Well, but in this case, you also had a judge who was being responsible about, you know, standing up for the rights of this victim and the victim's family. You know, having people, the defense attorney saying, like, you can't have black preachers in here. Like, that's ridiculous.
Oh, the guy was horrible.
It was horrible. Like the racism that's happening, and the thing that really hits me, that makes me feel. I mean, I'm happy that there is justice. That seems to be justice, but that is just in this case. If this, I mean, he was killed, he was murdered in February, and it wasn't until months later that they were even charged and arrested.
Just running around having their lives.
And the only thing is because it was filmed.
Yeah.
So what happens when all of these other cases that have not been filmed? You know, what's going on there? It still fills me with great trepidation and sorrow, but I am pleased that there is some sort of justice that's going on, that has been served and is moving forward.
Me too.
I'm not quite sure when the sentencing is going to be happening, but yeah, I don't know how people could look at that and not think that it wasn't murder.
And thankfully they saw it that way.
And thankfully they saw it that way.
The jury did. Mainly all white and one African-American, I believe, on the jury.
Yes. Mm-hmm. My monitor's down, so I think, do we have a phone call there, Ellen?
We've got David in Sacramento. Let's put David on the line.
Yeah, David, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome to Chicago.
Hey, happy holidays and all the good stuff that goes with it.
Thank you, David. Same to you.
All right, so, you know, I was very excited that this... Yeah, you're right. I was excited about this whole deal about this Travis... You know, McMichael got all counts, and then basically the other guy got 2 out of the 9 accounts, which is not malice, which is Gregory McMichael. Only got 2, but all of them except for the other account. And William Bryan only got, 6 out of the 9. So the bottom line is this, and I want people to understand this, and you got to, and I know people are listening from Alabama, Tennessee, California, New York, or whatever. You cannot use the word self-defense when you are the instigator.
Yep.
If you are the instigator or the provoker or perpetuate, I call it the PPI. Provoking, perpetuate, and instigating. If you are the instigator and you are the one are part of the problem and not part of the solution, you can't claim self-defense all because you don't like black people.
Unless you're Kyle Rittenhouse.
Exactly. The problem is these people that don't like black people and have to use this as an excuse, I have 2 words for you. Go get a job. Get a job. Find something to do with your time. You know, and all these smash and grab people, they need to do the same thing. Get a job. There are people out there that are looking for work, that are looking for employees. And you're out there killing black people, and you're out there smash and grabbing. Go get a job. Do something with your time and your life. You're wasting your life away. Period. Simple.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for calling in today. We appreciate that. You know, I also appreciate the sentiment of getting a job, but I don't think getting a job is necessarily going to cure racism. You know, no, it's. Again, my brother has been very active lately, you know, posting stupid stuff. Again, the only fortunate thing is the fact that he has a very small network on the social media platforms. But talking about how, like, you don't get a job, pick up a book, pick up a newspaper, go listen to other people's stories. That's what you need to do. You need to broaden your horizons. You need to broaden your worldview. You need to understand that other people's experiences are not similar to yours. You know, as much as we think they are, it's like they're not.
I need to change the channel.
Well, change the channel, but also just like, change your town, you know, like not necessarily like move, but really sit to we have to look at why you have these beliefs. Where did these beliefs come from? What is it that are feeding these
fear of the unknown?
Right. Fear of the other, fear of the unknown. Just, it's all based in fear. And fear generates, hatred. There's a whole host of things. And we need to understand that there is a problem with with racism in this country. It's baked into the cake. It has been ever since we were born as a country. Yeah. We just celebrated this huge holiday of a national day of Thanksgiving that was, proclaimed by Abraham Lincoln. Wonderful. But we need to also look back at how this nation was founded. We came and we took land from people from the very beginning. And the whole Thanksgiving narrative has been that the Native Americans and the Pilgrims gathered together and they had a wonderful time, and it was all smiles and lollipops and stuffing and pecan pie. But that's not the case. You still have indigenous people who are still upset about the loss of their native lands. That this country is now we have now absorbed into this country, but we've absorbed the land. We haven't absorbed their customs and traditions and respect for the land. We have to look at how a majority of black folks got here to this country in the first place, and that was as enslaved people. And even though there was, the Emancipation Proclamation was setting people free, we have the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery, and all of these things, we are still, all of the racism is still baked into the cake. People talk about how the civil rights movement happened, but at the same time the civil rights movement was happening, the Jim Crow laws were going into effect. The KKK is still an active group. White supremacy is a huge threat to this country. You have to figure out why. Why do you have these things? And then when we go, and then on to the flip side, when we're talking about people smashing and grabbing, it's like, imagine every time that you walked into a store, you were followed by security, and not in subtle ways. Imagine that. Imagine that you cannot go for a run and without being killed. Imagine not being able to speak your mind without being fire hoses and dogs set upon you. Imagine that, and then imagine all of that anger that's built up. I'm not saying that it justifies it at all, but I'm saying it explains it. It explains that there is an anger with people because they have been spat upon and reduced to a demographic and to a generic, boogeyman. That is what we need to be looking at. That's what we need to be looking at in your own heart. There needs to be some big self-reflection about what we are doing as a people. Like, in your own life, how are you helping systems of racism be perpetuated? How are we doing this? And what can we do to break down those barriers and to let people know that, we do believe that all people are created equal. And that doesn't mean to be colorblind. I understand folks out there who say, I don't see color. I understand the impulse behind that. I understand, because what you are saying, I believe what you were saying in your heart of hearts is that you truly believe that all people are equal, which is wonderful. However, when you say that you don't see color or you don't see race, that means that you are negating their experiences, because they are black, they are Asian, they are Latinx, or they are Pacific Islander, whatever it is, and they have had a different experience because of their color or race. So that is something that's just a small thing that you can do. Again, like I said, I understand the impulse when people say I don't see color, I don't see race, but again, it exists, so we need to see it. We need to celebrate it, and we also need to have empathy for other people's experiences, because they have not been the same as yours.
Correct. I mean, this country was founded on imperialism, and we just came out of 4 years of a president who both exploited and promoted white imperialism, no matter what you say. And this is what we've awakened this horrible sleeping giant of negativity and fear that has been underlying for a long time. Barack Obama became president, and boy, the backlash started. The
right
racism
away.
started, and Trump saw it as an opportunity. He's exploited it, and sure enough, look what we have in this country now.
Yeah.
I've never seen so much white imperialism and white nationalism. I mean, it's been there, but it's been awakened, and it's tough because we are two Americas. We are
very much two America, and also and to those people out there who are anti-critical race theory and anti-talking about racism and who don't see color. It's like, look, we are not saying that this country is bad. We're not saying that, or at least I'm not saying that.
No,
I'll say
I'm not
that.
saying that either.
No, but we are saying that what we've been told isn't the whole story.
Yeah.
There are losers to this story.
The narrative has been
the narrative has shifted, and again, we're not saying that we aren't happy for the freedoms that we have. We aren't happy for we aren't proud of our country, but I think we also have to, along with that pride, we have to recognize that we do carry some shame and guilt with us about the founding of this country, about how this country is run, about how this country has treated people who are not white, who are not male, who are not, who are not straight, who have a different gender expression. We do not treat people that same way, and that has happened throughout history, and we just need to be aware of it. That's one of the things that my brother was posting, is like the enemy isn't black people, it isn't gay people, it isn't white people, it's intellectuals and professors who are indoctrinating people to hate folks. So that's the thing that I'm like, no, it's not. Talk about indoctrination, buddy. You're just, again, speaking from my experience, like I've got one in my family. He speaks in nothing but regurgitated memes.
Sure.
He talks about nothing about
no original thoughts.
Well, no original thoughts, and it's like, you want to talk about indoctrination? What are you doing? What is this?
Like they're
What is that? That is nothing but indoctrination. It is a refusal to look beyond, outside of your little lens, and to see the bigger picture. And that's another thing that drives me wacko cracko kooky pants, when these are people who claim to be Christians, when it's nothing but love thy neighbor is the biggest driving element of that religion, of Christianity, is nothing but love and understanding. And it is not about eliminating people. It is about helping the poor. It is about helping other people who are in need. It is about loving other people and realizing that they are people and they are all children of God. So those of you who are waving your Christian flags, sit down for a second and put your money where your mouth is. Unfortunately, we do have to take a break, and I am so sorry because I know we've got some callers on the line, and we probably won't be able to get to you because we have a guest coming back up, but I appreciate you. Leave us a message on Facebook, and hopefully we'll get back to it near the end of the show. Before that, we do have to take a break, and I am sorry. Thank you for listening to my rant, but when we come back, we are going to be speaking with Bruce Koff from Rainbow Railroad, who is and it's an incredible organization that's helping LGBTQ folks in other countries who are facing persecution and state-led violence. So please stick around if you want to help. This is a great segment that you need to listen to. So please stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago here on WCPT.
Hey, I'm Tom, host of the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast. Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as the editors of Consumer Guide Automotive look at what matters most to people who own, love, or simply have to live with automobiles. Listen in for the latest news, great guests, expert analysis, and occasionally irreverent takes on what's happening in the auto world. We'll try and entertain you and maybe even save you a little money. That's the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast, Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on WCPT AM 820.
This season calls for performance. And when it comes to Porsche, you'll find that and more in every model. At the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park, experience the season's best in our entire lineup. The Cayenne, Macan, Panamera, the 911, and the fully electric Taycan. Special order your Porsche with us today and add some performance to your season. The Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Visit 4Porsche.com. The number 4Porsche.com.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday, and you're constantly complaining about paying PMI on your FHA loan, but you've done nothing about it. If you took out a 30-year fixed loan after June of 2013 and your loan-to-value was greater than 90%, you will have PMI for the entire length of your loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners refinance out of their FHA loan to eliminate their PMI, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Also, financial legal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
A new season is the perfect time to change up your look. And luckily, 21 Days of Beauty is happening now at Ulta Beauty. Snag daily beauty steals of 50% off the must-haves from brands like IT Cosmetics and Benefit. And discover new Gotta Have It launches from brands like Jacquez Cosmetics and Tula. Experience the thrill of finding new faves during beauty's biggest event. But hurry, this event ends September 18th. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tooth 19. I can't believe I'm watching my brother, Tooth 30, get his first root canal today. I told him that black hole didn't look pretty. It got so painful it kept all 32 of us up last night, in agony. Thank goodness Total Dentistry could see him right away. Oh, there's the needle. But wait, he didn't even flinch. I thought a root canal would be much worse. My brother, 230, is sleeping through all of this. The Total Dentistry team makes this look so easy and simple. Maybe it's because they do this every day. Well, my brother 30 is done now, and he doesn't even remember a thing. Maybe now we can all get a good night's rest. I love Total Dentistry because they know teeth are people too. Total Dentistry, 847-358-2477, or visit totaldentistry.org. Total Dentistry, a general dental practice like no other.
I'm Honey West. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here and Ella Miller as we roll along on this Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend. And again, I'm hoping that you really take a moment to sit down and think about what you're thankful for, what you're grateful for, and what we can do to make things a better place around here. That is
Good
really
advice.
what's going on here. And I can't think of a better organization to speak with right now than the Rainbow Railroad. On Friday, December 3rd, Rainbow Railroad hosts When I'm Free, a benefit concert to get LGBTQ plus individuals to safety. And joining us now is Vice President of the Board of Directors of the Rainbow Railroad, Bruce Koff. Bruce, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Ellen. So good to be with you.
Good to have you, Bruce.
We're good to have you back. Did you have a good holiday weekend? Or are you having one? It's still going on.
It still is.
Day 4.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure you had a lovely weekend that you're being grateful and you know, examining what you're thankful for and getting ready for this concert that's coming up on December 3rd. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about the mission of Rainbow Railroad?
Sure. Rainbow Railroad is the only international organization dedicated to bringing LGBTQ people who are fleeing violence and persecution to safety. And we do this all over the world in many different countries. And we've been doing it for several years. And we are very busy. This year we have had, over 4,000 requests for help. And we've been able to help responded to about 12. Well, we've helped about almost 1,300 people so far this year.
Well, and where are these requests coming from? I mean, what are the countries that we're kind of focusing on? Because I can name a handful, but
yeah. Well, here's the thing. There are 69 countries in the world where same-sex relationships or being LGBTQI is illegal and it's criminalized. And, we say the word criminalized, and that sounds sort of antiseptic, but what that really means is that in some countries you can go to jail for years just for who you love or who you are.
Oh, and worse. You can be imprisoned, you can be killed.
Tortured and executed, absolutely.
Yep, you have some governments, like you were saying, who are encouraging family members to kill other family members if they find out that they are members of the LGBTQ community. It's
correct.
So with Rainbow Railroad, from which countries are you getting these requests from?
Well, all over. We kind of think more in terms of regions. So, we get a lot of requests, first of all, from areas like South Central Asia, Central Asian countries, also from the Middle East and North Africa, and from the Caribbean. Jamaica is also one of those countries that has a terrible record on LGBTQ rights. And also Sub-Saharan Africa. So we draw people from all over. Right now, a real crisis situation, for example, is Afghanistan, where, given the Taliban takeover, the really LGBTQ people in Afghanistan are literally fleeing for their lives, and they are being hunted by the Taliban. So we are in the process of doing all we can to move LGBTQ people who are in fear of their lives in Afghanistan to safer places.
Bruce,
sometimes in country, and when we can, out of the country.
Bruce, how did you become aware of the Rainbow Railroad, and how did you get involved?
Well, actually, about 4 years ago, we reached out to a young gay Russian virtuoso violinist studying here in Chicago, who had come out to his online in Russia, and in doing so, he really violated what's known as the propaganda law in Russia, which makes it illegal to say anything positive about being LGBTQ to youth. So he really made it dangerous for him to go back. So we reached out and helped him. We raised some money for him, and then we realized we would raise more money than he maybe needed for legal assistance. We looked around for who else does this work, and that's how I discovered Rainbow Railroad, and I have become more and more involved and more enamored with that organization over the last 4 years.
Yeah. So Bruce Koff, who is with the Rainbow Railroad, is our guest. When this organization receives a request, what is the process like of trying? What does that look like physically? Because it just all sounds so harrowing.
Yes, it's a great question. First of all, the fastest way to get help is to get to our website, which is rainbowrailroad.org. And on the very first page of that website is information about how to get help. It's in several different languages, and there is basically a form to fill out. And we get that form, and we can respond on average within a week to someone's request for help. Every minute counts, but we try to respond as fast as we can. Then we vet. We want to make sure, first of all, we want to assess the kind of danger that person is in. We try to help the people who are in the most imminent danger. We have to verify, in fact, that they are LGBTQ because that's our mission. So we try to do that. And then we have to sort out the best pathway to safety for them. It may be that there isn't an immediate pathway to them to a different country, or it may be that we can get them to a different country, but in a very difficult a difficult way. And sometimes we can't. It has to do with the relationship between the country that they're in and any other country that we can get them to. So we move everybody legally, but each country presents its own set of circumstances, and we have to assess that and figure out what the best pathway is going to be.
Yeah. So I know that you're based in New York and Toronto. I'm assuming that you work with other agencies worldwide. What other kind of agencies are you working with?
Right. So we have partners all over the world. First of all, we work with all the human rights agencies in the world, but we also work with partners in particular countries to help us. For instance, we work with a partner at our southern border to help LGBTQ people who are fleeing imminent danger in Latin American countries, especially Ecuador, for example, where trans people are particularly in danger. Mm-hmm. So we work in Ecuador. We work with partners in Uganda, in Nigeria, and in other countries in the Middle East. So, and of course, we have partners in places that are destination countries like Germany, Great Britain, Spain, and Canada, the United States, and Argentina.
Bruce, are the people affected, would you say they're 50-50 men and women, or is it lean more towards men that seem to be I'll
tell you what it's about. I can tell you the exact amount. We have about 44% 47% are cisgender male, about 22% are cisgender female, and about 6% are gender nonconforming, and 19% are trans female. 5% are trans male. So it's quite a mix, of people that we try, and we're really doing a lot right now to focus on trans people, particularly from the Caribbean area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Jamaica, which is a place I used to love to go to, but my wife refuses because of, Jamaica. It's not getting any better, huh, there?
Right. And in a lot of these countries is frankly due to Christian fundamentalism that has sort of taken root in these countries and made it even more difficult for LGBTQ people to feel safe and to be safe.
So sad.
Yeah, so as a part of your fundraising efforts to continue this work with the Rainbow Railroad to help individuals who are being persecuted,
right,
and dealing with violence, you are hosting a benefit concert that's coming up on Friday, December 3rd, called When I Am Free. What is this event all about?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked.
something joyful and celebratory.
Yes, indeed.
It is really a celebration of hope. When I Am Free is a concert. It's a benefit concert, and these are almost all musicians who are actually new to this country. Although they weren't assisted by Rainbow Railroad, they come to this country from different places in the world, mostly from Venezuela, actually. And they all have an understanding of the importance of the mission of Rainbow Railroad because of their own experience. So this is going to be at the Hoover Leppin Theater at Center on Halsted this Friday, December 3rd at 7:30. It's going to be live, but we're also live streaming, so you can do either. And let me just say, first of all, if you want to get tickets, the best thing to do is to go to Facebook and search When I Am Free, and you'll find the ticket, a link to the tickets there. And the great thing about this is that there's some really great stories about this concert. First of all, it's classical music, and I know a lot of people are going, ew, classical music.
No.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. But
no.
Go on, yeah.
But this is really such beautiful expressive music, and it's going to tell a story. And I want to tell you about one particular aspect of this. We have a local composer named Carlos Jacquez Gonzalez. And I discovered him when I learned about a piece that he had done called Immigrant Mass, which was about based on the testimony of people who've gone through U.S. detention. And I called him and I said, "Can you help with this? Because this seems like right up your alley." And he said, "I will compose something for you."
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. So he has composed a piece for us, and it is based on an interview that he did with two people that we helped. And get this. This is two guys from a North African country who were both in imminent danger, and to put it mildly. One had been tortured in prison, another had been tortured by his own family. And we brought them out and we paired them together as we often do. They didn't know each other, but we paired them together to travel outside of their home country. And in doing so, they not only found freedom, but they found each other and they fell in love.
Oh,
stop.
What a beautiful
no, you're
story,
just killing me over here.
They are now safely in a European country, and Carlos has done a piece about their story, which will be featured at this concert on Friday.
So now, will the pieces, are they purely instrumental, or is there vocal involved, or is there spoken text that goes along with these?
His piece is vocal. The others are instrumental. We have two wonderful soloists, just superb violinists, Gabriela Lara and Yulimar Gonzalez. And then we also have a string quartet that's also doing a beautiful piece with the Soto String Quartet. And then we finish with a chamber orchestra called the Momentum Chamber Orchestra. So it's going to be really wonderful. We also are going to have a dance documentary by a gay Bulgarian dancer, choreographer, director named Costa Karakashian. And it's a fabulous piece of film where he moves to the words, the testimony of LGBTQ survivors of the anti-LGBTQ purge in Chechnya. So it's really going to be quite a beautiful, moving moving evening.
Sounds
Yes,
wonderful.
Again, like I said, if you are feeling thankful and grateful and filled with gratitude, you need to pass on that gratitude and help folks when you can. When I Am Free, a benefit concert hosted by Rainbow Railroad, is this coming Friday, December 3rd from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at the Hoover Lippin Theater. It's also going to be live streamed, so if you're still feeling weird about going into places, you can do that.
Options,
Tickets are $100, and all the proceeds go directly to Rainbow Railroad to support its mission to assist LGBTQ refugees fleeing persecution. For more information about this incredible organization, please go to rainbowrailroad.org. Giving Tuesday is coming up this week, another kind of made-up holiday, but a good one. So if you're thinking about giving, think about giving to Rainbow Railroad. Bruce Koff, thank you so much for the work you do, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you. Break legs.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Of course. We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the second hour of Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
The David Pac-Man Show.
Anecdotally, people have written to me and they've said, listen, David, my employer claims to be hiring. The companies are listing jobs in order to placate the workers they have. We're hiring, but really it's to keep the existing employees doing the jobs of 1.5 or 2 people calm as they continue to do way more work than they normally would.
The David Pac-Man Show, weekday evenings at 10 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Attention Chicagoland car buyers. Get Black Friday specials all month long at Hawk Volkswagen of Joliet during the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event. Choose from a huge selection of new Volkswagen models like Jetta, Tiguan, Taos, Atlas, and Atlas Crossport and pay nothing out of pocket. Just sign, then drive. Or take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months on new Volkswagen models. You don't have to wait. Beat the crowds and drive home today. No one in the Chicagoland area sells more new Volkswagen models than Hawk Volkswagen of Joliet. Combine that with outstanding customer service, and it's easy to see why we have been the #1 volume Volkswagen dealership in Illinois for the last 5 years in a row. Hawk Volkswagen on Jefferson Street in Joliet. Online at hawkvw.com. Available on select new Volkswagen models with approved credit, plus tax, title, license, and doc fee. Must finance through Volkswagen Credit. See dealer for details. #1 claim based on 2016 to 2020 retail sales. Expires 11/30/21. Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez. Weeknights from 5 to 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
NBC News Radio, I'm Dina Kodiak. Dr. Anthony Fauci is encouraging Americans to get boosted, although not much is known yet about the newly discovered Omicron variant. Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, President Biden's chief medical advisor urged the fully vaccinated to get COVID-19 booster shots regardless of potential tweaks which may be made to vaccines. Fauci explained getting boosted will drastically reduce chances of developing a severe infection even if the new variant proves to be more dangerous than Delta. Meantime, National Institutes of Health Director Dr. Francis Collins says there's no evidence to suggest the new Omicron variant is any more deadly than the other forms of the coronavirus.
We have no data so far to suggest that it would be. There's even a bit of a report from South Africa that maybe people with this are milder than the usual case.
Appearing on CNN's State of the Nation, Collins said it'll take 2 to 3 weeks to study its effects in South Africa. The NIH director called the appearance of a new variant an opportunity to redouble efforts to fight the pandemic. Collins noted boosters work particularly well against other COVID variants, and he urged all eligible adults to get their booster shots. Moderna says it's working to develop a booster shot for the new COVID-19 variant. The pharmaceutical company says it's adapting 3 strategies to fight the new Omicron strain, including a higher dose of the vaccine. The new variant is causing global concern as it spreads outside South Africa.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Well, maybe not for some folks, as today is expected to be the busiest air travel day of the holiday week as people make their way back home after Thanksgiving. Scott Carr with more.
Well, it may not be the most wonderful time for travelers. Today's expected to be the busiest air travel day of the holiday week. The TSA says it expects to screen about 2.4 million passengers just today, wrapping up a week that has seen the number of travelers bounce back to pre-pandemic levels.
If you're traveling by car, expect highways to be congested. AAA says over 53 million people will be heading home as we close out the holiday weekend. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
From energy to public health, extreme weather, the economy, and more, Climate Connections makes the global local. Hear it weekdays during the Tom Hartman program and during Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive. Right here on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Hey, I'm Tom, host of the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast. Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as the editors of Consumer Guide Automotive look at what matters most to people who own, love, or simply have to live with automobiles. Listen in for the latest news, great guests, expert analysis, and occasionally irreverent takes on what's happening in the auto world. We'll try and entertain you and maybe even save you a little money. That's the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast, Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on WCPT AM 820.
With round-the-clock protection at a great price, your Progressive policy works the way it's supposed to, unlike this unenthusiastic hype man.
Okay, everybody, let's make some noise. Put your hands up. Or not. It's your call. Here we go now. Here we go.
Switch to Progressive today.
It is electric in here.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, as we roll along. We're trying to express our gratitude, but also turning that gratitude for what we have into change for the world that we want to see.
Absolutely.
Again, just a reminder, the Rainbow Railroad, which is an incredible nonprofit organization that is dedicated to helping LGBTQ people seek a safe haven from state-led violence and persecution in other countries. They're hosting an event this Friday at the Center on Halsted in the Hoover Lipton Theater. Go to rainbowrailroad.org just to find out more information about this organization. And there are still atrocities happening across the country and the world to see what you can do to help. Again, Giving Tuesday is coming up, so think about giving there. But, you know, along with that sort of thing, we want to have gratitude. We want to celebrate life, celebrate the holidays. We're going to be doing that this hour. Later on this hour, we're going to be speaking with members from the cast of Love Actually.
I saw it on Friday. It is crazy
The
fun.
unauthorized musical parody.
Yep.
I remember seeing that movie for the first time, Love Actually, and being like, this is great. But then it doesn't really age well.
That's what you were saying.
It doesn't age well. I mean, they keep calling that lady fat. Do they call this not fat lady? They keep saying, like, look how fat she is. Like, it's horrible.
I guess I haven't seen it in a couple of years.
It's very strange. There's a lot of infidelity, and it's very weird. But it's still, for some reason, a holiday classic. So
It's British, so,
Love Actually, question mark, the unauthorized musical parody. We're going to be speaking with them later on this hour. But right now, I am super duper excited to be speaking with William Jack Sibley, who is the author of Here We Go, Loop to Loop. It is a tale of greed, lust, sexuality, spiritual enlightenment, more lust, xenophobia, and the meaning of a life worth living. Perfect things for the holidays. Joining us now is award-winning author William Jack Sibley. William, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's very good to be with you guys. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for being with us.
I want to thank you. First of all, congratulations on this book. It is hilarious. I am a tough critic of comedy. It is very.
Scott told me off the air. It's very funny.
It's so funny,
Yep.
and it kind of reminded me of like the Texan version of Tales of the City. That because you.
What do you think of that, William?
Because you have all these like incredible, quixotic, just wonderful characters. They're all just so kooky, but so very real. And this small town, like it really felt like I was just peeping into this small world. How was this novel birthed?
Well, some critic wrote, they said, gee, he's written this brilliant satire. And I thought, I didn't know I was writing a satire.
Right. As somebody who has lived in the South, people don't understand that when you read these satire book type things, no, they're truth. These are real people. They really behave like that. So you did not set out to write a satire.
No, God, no. I mean, I wanted to, I really wanted to tell a funny story. Thank you. Comedy is the ugly redheaded stepchild of literature.
Yes.
And it's hard as hell to do it properly and make people laugh and really get it. And it's somewhat fresh and new and not, the same old junk we've heard 1,000 times before. So it's hard work. It's staring at the typewriter, the computer, until there's blood on your forehead.
Right.
But when it works, it works.
And this one, it really works. It tells the story. You have our main heroine, Marty, who is a New Yorker, who's from New York. The whole thing takes place in a town, Rita Blanca. And truthfully, I am showing my Midwestern ignorance here. I thought it was a fictional place. I thought Rita Blanca was your Yaknapatawpha. It was like this whole county of places, but it's actually a real place.
There's a Rita Blanca State Park I found out up in the panhandle of Texas, but it doesn't exist.
Oh, okay, good. Because I did a little research and I found the Rita Blanca in the panhandle, but this takes place closer towards the border, correct?
Oh, this is way down in South Texas. That's my hunting ground, down in South Texas.
Yeah, so where did this story come from? Like like you said, comedy is the redheaded stepchild of the literary world. It's also the redheaded stepchild of the theater world, of the film world. People always poo-poo it because comedy makes you feel good. Laughing makes you feel happy, and they don't realize how much work it takes to put into it. So when you were crafting this story of this displaced, like a New Yorker who came back to her hometown to take over this ranch, and then these outside forces and the cast of townies that inhabit this place of Rita Blanca, the Lindecker twins are just killing me. I can't get enough of them.
Darcy and Delilah.
Yes, I loved that. So how did you start this dreamy little town?
Well, so this is number 3 in my Texas trilogy. I've got 2 books that preceded this. They're all based, the second book is based in Rockport, Texas, which actually exists. But the first one and the last one are both fictional towns that are based around this town in my head that exists in South Texas. I've lived in and around small towns in South Texas, as well as New York and Hollywood. So, I get around. But my family is 5 generations in one county. So I speak from a little bit of authority because we still own land. We still work the land. I'm by Yankee, and I'm out there. I was out at the ranch yesterday. It's a part of life. But to have the ability to look at life from a different perspective, from turning the lens just slightly and looking at it and seeing it for the good, the bad, and the ridiculous is a gift that I hope I can bring, that I tried to bring forth in this novel.
And that you did. Again, like I said, I've lived in the South. I lived in the Delta, which is its own version of good, bad, and ridiculous. But I think what was really great about this particular book, Here We Go, Loop to Loop, is you give us the good, bad, and ridiculous, in your words, of Texas, because Texas is its own thing.
It is its own thing, and I'm not putting anybody down because God knows, I'm not a perfect human being. I've never met anyone that is, and Jesus lived a long time ago. So I really wanted to tell a story of the humor. There is insane humor that exists in these small towns with these people who really haven't been anywhere or done anything, but now they get cable TV, so they're experts on everything. And it's changed drastically in my lifetime. They can get 500 channels of porn and crazy QAnon and all that garbage, and it's unceasing in its ability to startle and give you great material.
Yeah,
sounds like
I actually wrote this down in my notes. There is you have a genuine love of your characters. Every single one of them is treated with respect. Even the not so great ones. There's still this whole. You are people who have opposing political views. I'm assuming from where you have. You treat people with respect. What is the importance of showing humanity? Again, and being respectful of these characters that you've created, even though they're not so great. Like, I don't know if I want to hang out with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. The thing that I always feel is I'm going to spend a month reading a book or weeks or whatever. I don't want to end up hating people or being smug and sneering at people, casting shade on these people, because everybody has a good and a bad side. And I'm willing to see both sides of that. I just got through Thanksgiving, and, we religiously obey no religion and no politics. It's the only way we can be together. And when we're not talking about those things, it can be funny as hell. I mean, they're such great storytellers in the South.
Yep.
And I relish that. I really, really, really appreciate that.
Taking the positives out of the situation, leaving the rest behind.
And taking the negatives and putting them in another room and saying, okay, we're just not going to go there. Because it's a no-win. And you're convinced, and I'm convinced, and let's just convince ourselves otherwise and try to have a good time.
So you grew up in Scarsdale, New York area?
No, I grew up in South Texas in a little town called Alice, which does exist, halfway between Laredo and Corpus Christi. But my parents divorced. My mom remarried. We moved with my stepfather to upstate New York. We'd never seen snow. We left banana trees in January.
Oh, no.
Stepped out of an airplane in Syracuse, New York with my face cracked. Yeah, we were wearing windbreakers. My mother didn't quite get the concept,
How could she? Yeah,
so,
it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, so then my stepfather got relocated down to Westchester County outside of New York City, graduated high school in Scarsdale, and have spent the rest of my life going back and forth between South Texas, New York, Hollywood, and back and forth.
Yes. So you ever think about what life might have been like for you had your mom and stepdad not moved to New York?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I would have been, it's scary to think. As much as I hated it and fought it and resisted, it made me a vastly different, more appreciative person of other people. I spent half my life explaining Southerners to Yankees and Yankees to Southerners.
Nice.
And, it's the way it is.
Yeah,
love it.
This is what I keep saying. Yeah. Yes. So, what is it about Southern Texas that keeps pulling you back? Because you have, like you said, you've been living in New York, you've lived in L.A., you've been all over. What is it about Southern Texas that brings you? That's like, this is home.
Well, the first thing, I went on a book tour with my first novel. I was living in L.A., I was writing screenplays, having a wonderful life, and I sublet my apartment to an actress friend of mine, and I lost the apartment because they found out I'd sublet it, and I was doing the book tour, and then my mom got sick. She was living here in Corpus Christi, and everything just happened at once. You got to come home. You got to help take care of the ranch. You got to do this. You got to do that. I thought, well, what the hell? I hate Hollywood was really getting to me. You sit around waiting for the phone to ring. And so I said I can do that in Texas, and I came back, and I've been here ever since, which I love. But I also, the secret to my happiness in life is a MasterCard that works and show me how to get to the airport.
Right. There is. Yeah, I understand that. There is something about, the need to escape and to experience other experiences. Especially, for me, that was I lived in Memphis, and that was, there's one pocket in Memphis that is like really progressive and amazing, but then you step outside of that little bubble, and that bubble is little, you step out of it, and people don't like you so much.
That's the thing that's true about Texas. We've got all Democratic mayors in all the largest cities in Texas. All the largest cities in Texas go Democratic. But we have a huge rural population, enormous rural population that is, it's beyond red. I don't know what color that would be.
Yeah.
But, it just, and the way we're gerrymandered, the rest of my lifetime, it'll be a miracle if Beto O'Rourke gets elected, or Matthew McConaughey. Who the hell knows?
Right. Who knows? Maybe. You never know. That might wake him up.
I don't know if we want Matthew McConaughey.
I know, but the little people might go, I really like him in the movie, so let's go for him.
Look what happened with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's more alt-right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you dip your toes into the politics of Texas in terms of trying to make it a little bit more blue?
Yeah, and as you were saying, there are these pockets, like Austin is more liberal than San Francisco. I mean, it's a fact. As Rick Perry, our illustrious former governor, said, it's the blueberry in the middle of our cherry pie. And, thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
But, again, most of my friends in San Antonio are Democrats, and we are very active, and I've canvassed blocks, and, we have a large Hispanic population, which seems to be on the fence. It's changing. I'm avidly into politics, and at the same time, there's a part of me that remembers the Texas of my grandfather and my grandparents. I knew my great-grandmother really well, and the stories they would tell about wagons and Model Ts, and all of that stuff just fascinated the hell out of me, and I love that. And
well, and then you get you get a sense of that nostalgia and genuine love of that of the community in your book. Here we go to Loop with again, I forget. I left my copy at home, and I'm so upset about that. I think it's Pete Pennebaker.
Pennebaker.
Yeah,
yes,
Pete. I mean, he has this kind of early on in the book has this lovely moment of talking about his own beliefs when it comes to being a conservative. But it harkens back to a time when the GOP actually had values and not just spewing hate talking points.
Well, he's a real conservative Peckerwood, as we say in the South.
Yep.
And the point, and not to give away too many spoilers, but when a certain individual ends up on the ranch and he has a heart-to-heart with himself, and he says, "I can't ignore this gentleman's fate. If it lands in my lap, although I'm against everything that this person's trying to do, it's my job to help this human being out." And so that's what I find over and over and over, people will surprise you. Give them half a chance. They're not always as bad as you think they are.
Yeah. Well,
and lesson.
And sometimes they are.
And sometimes
they are exactly
they show you
what
they are. Believe them. There's that too.
Exactly. So, what do you hope when people pick up a copy of Here We Go Loop to Loop? What do you hope people take away from the novel?
I really want them to say, "Why isn't this a movie?"
There you go.
It should be, or sell it to Netflix or one of those. It could be a series.
Now, it would be a hell of an enjoyable movie, but that's because I lived in Hollywood and wrote screenplays for so long. I just like telling a story. The greatest compliment anybody ever gives me is they go, "Damn it, I got into bed last night with your book at 10 o'clock, and I didn't put it down till 6 a.m. And I'm like, "Thank you,
yes.
Thank you."
Yeah, that guilty as charged over here. I do have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It is super duper funny. It's wonderful. It's filled with again, like you were talking about, the meaning of a life worth living, and it's lovely. It'll make a great gift for the holidays, everybody. So there we go. The book,
great idea,
right?
Yes,
oh my goodness! So
not?
the book is Here We Go Loop to Loop. The author is William Jack Sibley. If you want to find out more about our illustrious friend here, go to williamjacksibley.com and order the book. Go to your local bookstore. Again, it's called Here We Go Loop to Loop. pick up a copy. It's fun. I'm telling you, these are horrible times right now. But if you want something just to kind of cheer you up, and to make you think, and to see, like you said, people will surprise you if you just give them half a chance.
Yeah. Congratulations. I look forward to the movie, William.
You and me both.
All right. Got my fingers crossed for you.
Well, have a great holiday season. We look forward to your next book. Again, the book is Here We Go to Loop to Loop. The author is William Jack Sibley, who is a heck of a nice guy and not a peckerwood. William Jack Sibley, thanks so much for joining us today, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, William.
We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Danielle Playhall and Christopher Weyland from Love Actually, the unauthorized musical parody that is now playing at the Apollo Theater. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. In 1954, Brown v. the Board of Education was the famous Supreme Court case that ended racial segregation in schools. However, this was not the first case on the issue. When Mexican labor workers came to work the citrus groves of Southern California, Californians began to enforce their own de facto segregation, even in the school systems. 80% of Mexican-American children were placed into Mexican schools, as the California Board of Education called it. The Mexican-American schools were terrible, having poor classroom conditions, shorter school days, and only being taught how to speak English. In 1944, parent Gonzalo Mendez insisted that not only his children, but all Mexican-American students be given a quality of education equal to their Anglo neighbors, but the school board refused to change, and Gonzalo and 4 others filed a lawsuit. In 1946, the case was heard by a judge who ruled in favor of Mendez, saying, "School must be open to all children by unified school association, regardless of lineage, ending segregation in California schools for all students of color." Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code POWER for a 25 cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code POWER. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code POWER. That's POWER. Visit getupside.com for terms.
Hi, this is Renee Taylor. You're listening to Out Chicago, WCPT 820.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, as we roll along. We're rolling along right into the holiday season.
Oh, yeah, we're there.
It's time for all those classic movies that people love to watch.
Yes.
You know me, I'm a huge It's a Wonderful Life fan.
I am too.
Like, I cry.
Every year I cry.
It's like I'm an 80s girl group video where I'm leaning up against a wall and just sliding down it with tears coming down. I sob at that movie because no man is a failure who has friends.
I know.
I love the holidays are a time for like feeling warm and fuzzy and maybe even feeling love, actually. Love, actually. Which brings us to Love Actually. Question mark. The unauthorized musical parody is a hilarious parody of the rom-com and holiday film, which is now playing at the Apollo Theater. Joining us now are 2 of the stars of the show, Danielle Playhall and Christopher Weyland. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Hello. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for bringing a little bit of holiday cheer and parody into our world. Ellen, you got to see the show this week.
I did. I saw it Friday. It was hysterical. And one of the questions I had for both of you right away was, were you fans of this movie before you got involved in this parody?
I think so. When I saw it back in 2003, it was so classic. The cast was huge, and like all of the stars of the movie were some of my favorites. So, I went into it with the highest of hopes. And of course, over the years, the movie has changed meaning for a lot of people. But absolutely, I looked forward to the opportunity to completely spoofing these people.
And how did you, I'll ask both of you too, how did you prepare for these roles? Because, Scott, they run around like I've never seen more costume changes.
That's the sign of a good parody
more
right there.
More wig changes. I mean, you guys are sweating out there.
So to paint a picture, right now, our folks that are joining us, Dan, you play Hugh Grant.
Right.
And others.
I do.
There we are. And Christopher, you play Liam Neeson. And others. Mm-hmm. Do you have the dialect down? And do you have a very specific set of skills that you can use? And
we've got a lot of voices in play for this show.
Yes, say that again.
Most of us are in some form of a British dialect throughout the whole show. I think I have the fewest number of characters to play, and I play 6 characters throughout the show. Hugh Grant being one of them. I know you were right. There's tons of wardrobe changes and wig changes. I think we have 43 wigs in the show and 150 some costume changes and wig changes that happen. And it's just a whirlwind. One of the fun parts about doing this was doing the research of watching the movie and watching the clips over and over again to try to pick out the little eccentricities of each actor.
Right.
As you mentioned, we play Hugh Grant and Liam Neeson, not the names of the characters in the movie, in the play, because whenever you're talking about Love Actually, you're like, oh yeah, and Hugh Grant's character, but nobody knows their actual name.
I have no idea. Exactly.
The Prime Minister, that's all I know.
So
I was reading a review the other day, and somebody mentioned Karen as a character, and I was like, Karen? Who's Karen? But that's Emma Thompson's character in the movie. We never refer to as Karen. We just refer to as Emma Thompson.
That is so funny.
Every day.
I never even realized that, but you were absolutely right. So Christopher, as Ellen was talking about, the research, one of the best things about parody is best when it is accurate. When you got the style. So what sort of prep were you doing when you were tackling Liam Neeson and others?
Like Dan mentioned, watching the movie over and over again to just sort of pick out all those little eccentricities of each actor and their sort of mannerisms and what they do, and also watching other clips of them doing things completely unrelated to the movie to just sort of get their cadence down and where they place their voice. A lot of it's really technical work, actually, just like figuring out where their sound comes from in their body. Is it more of a nasal voice? Is it more of a chest voice? I play Alan Rickman's character, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Very chest and nasally, so
yes.
Liam Neeson, very gravelly, exactly. Just listening to these people over and over again and just putting them in my head. And, I guess doing the best I can to try to approximate what they sound like.
Well, and then throw in music on top of that, for it is a musical parody. What are your favorite songs to perform during the show?
Oh, wow. Question. I think the show has 27 songs in it.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is a lot.
Almost as many songs as wigs.
Yeah, and it's a 90-minute show, so they're all short and crammed in.
Alrighty.
One of the fun ones is near the beginning. It's called The Prime Minister of Rom-Coms, and it's Hugh Grant's entrance song, and it's just everybody singing and dancing and welcoming the Prime Minister of Rom-Coms, and it's goofy and it's absurd and it's just a blast to do.
Absolutely, and there's a little bit for the musical theater fans too, because there are lots of songs that draw influence from different musical theater numbers from the canon. Like I sing a song as Liam Neeson that's sort of a parody of Joanna from Sweeney Todd. That's probably my favorite one to sing in the show.
There's a lot of that going on. How does the show like this compare, the physicality of this, compare to anything that either one of you have ever done before?
I mean, this thing moves like a freight train. So having spent 2 years away from the theater, thanks to the pandemic and everything, coming back and this being my first reintroduction to theater, I mean, it moves like a freight train.
Yeah.
And, getting my body back in the rhythm of it and voice and everything. This is definitely the most physical thing that I've done.
Chris talks a little bit about the voices and finding the voice for each character, but it's also been fun to find the physical movement, the body of each character. And the speed of the show and the number of costume changes means that pretty much any time we're not on stage, we're changing into a costume to be just in time for our next entrance as somebody else. And one of the things I love is being backstage and watching each of the other actors put on a costume, reach to grab a door handle, and see their body sort of transform into this new character right before they enter stage. It's fun to see how everyone has defined those different characters in their bodies as well as their voices.
Oh, wow. So what was the rehearsal process like? Because it sounds like it was just kind of bananas. I mean, you've got a 90-minute show, 27 songs, 46 wigs. Yeah. What was that like? I mean, because comedy is like math. There's certain, you got to make sure that you get the equations just right and everything balances out. So what was the rehearsal process like for both of you?
Thanks to our brilliant director, Tim Drucker, he just told us from the beginning. He said, this is going to feel strange at times, but we need you to trust us because we promise it works. And boy, was he right. I mean, we dived right in on first day with choreography and music rehearsals. We didn't even read the script together as a cast until the end of the first week. We had to put the building blocks in place first before we even got to the words themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, you are also supported by some great women, Anne Delaney playing Emma Thompson and others, and Amanda Walker as Keira Knightley and others. The look on her face, she is a real master of her face. Tell us about working with these fabulous cast members.
They really are talented. You're so right. Both of them are rock star women performers who have some pretty big shoes to fill in terms of the women they parody in the show, and men in some cases too. And they transform totally. They fill this house. Anne has several sort of belty, bring down the house musical numbers, and each one just like dominates the whole room. Amanda, I think, has more costume changes and more characters than any of us do. She is constantly like changing costumes in a doorway, barely off stage, right back in to be someone brand new, and they really carry the energy of the show through so powerfully.
So
it's incredible. The first time Amanda walked on stage as Keira Knightley, I lost it. I couldn't even look at her.
That look on her face is going to be imprinted in my brain forever. She's just really fabulous, as is everybody.
And the crazy thing is, when you go back and watch the movie, it's accurate. Like you said, it's precision, and it seems absurd in our show. And you go back and watch the movie, and it's strikingly accurate.
Well, the first thing I wanted to do, I told my wife, was we got to watch it again. That's what it made me want to do after seeing the parody. So,
well, and then and also, right now I think we need to take a time out. We've been talking about like the incredible gymnastics that are happening on stage, but we need to give a shout out to the people who are backstage, the crew that has to be helping you all out and making everything run smoothly. Are there some shout outs to some folks who might be giving a hand back there because they're the unsung heroes of live theater?
Thank you. We could not do this without them. Our stage manager, Marcus, we've got Natalie, Abigail, and Jesse backstage helping us change, and Rachel, who is our crew cover, who's already been subbing in and doing a fantastic job. Everything is so precise. If a prop is rotated the wrong way on a table, someone might miss an entrance, and they make sure that everything is there and ready for us, and we are taken care of in those fly-by-night pass-throughs of the backstage area.
Yeah, I mean...
Absolutely. Also, our understudies who are there every show, Darren, Dylan, and Jesse, shout out to them, too. They're always our cheerleaders in the audience backstage.
Nice.
I'm having a panic attack right now for your understudies, because that is the worst job on the planet, because you were just, every time I've understudied, I have an ulcer. It's horrible. And, but also, like, just shout out to them. Shout out to the crew. When I did Noises Off for, 18 years, it feels like, it's like I understand the power of like having that crew backstage to help make sure that this is, people don't understand that it is a well-oiled machine, and if one cog is out of place, it can send the whole thing off the tracks. What have the responses been from audiences so far?
Truly magical. We've gotten such great, during the rehearsal process, everybody who's seen the show a million times might stop laughing at things. So to get that laughter in the audience, to let us know that what we've been working for actually works and actually is funny, it's been incredible. And, meeting them after the show has been great, too.
Do you have any idea if you're on the radar of anyone that's actually involved in the original film?
Oh, my Lord, that'd be amazing.
Well, if they're listening, you never know. No,
Liam, come see this, please.
He tunes in all the time.
Yeah, Liam's a regular listener to the show.
Yes, and he has a very special set of skills, and he will come and find you. Do you have a Taken moment? Is there a Taken moment in the show?
There's a particular moment
in the play that you might find. Yes! Thank you. That makes me so happy. I have a particular set of skills. Okay. Ellen's going to give you, I don't think she saw that one. But anyway, I love it. I'm here for it. I'm all about that. And just so that our listeners are all know what are the COVID precautions that we're taking with this production of Love Actually, the unauthorized musical parody?
All audience members do need to show proof of vaccination at the door and keep their masks on throughout the performance.
Cool. See, again, we're just trying to make things safe so that we can be as back to normal as possible during this time when we need to be celebrating friends, family, community, and of course having some escapism and some laughter with Love Actually, the unauthorized musical parody, which is now playing at the Apollo Theater in Chicago through January 2nd. Make sure you get your tickets. If you are a fan of this movie, go see it. If you are not a fan of this movie, go see it and prove that you're right. Like I said, this movie did not age very well, and it is just ripe for parody. Please tell me there's someone do you just keep calling someone fat who just is not fat?
You know what? Actually, I want to comment on that because this is a great thing that the writers have done. They have eliminated all of the fat shaming from the parody.
Thank you.
It's really important because there's so much of it, and it's not even mostly received by Natalie, Hugh Grant's love interest, who is not fat at all.
Through the entire movie. I'm like,
it's nuts.
It's so bananas.
Get it too, and I was actually really thrilled when I read the script. And it's one of those things where if we commented on it, we'd have to bring it up and make a thing of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
I find it much more satisfying that we just eliminate it completely.
Probably the best move.
Fantastic. That makes me so happy because again, that's one of the things that drives me cuckoo pants about this movie. So again, if you are a fan of Love Actually, go check out Love Actually, the musical unauthorized musical parody. If you are not a fan of Love Actually, then you need to go see Love Actually, the unauthorized musical parody, to prove that you are correct. It's playing at the Apollo Theater through January 2nd. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster. Christopher Weyland and Daniel Playall, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your run. Spread some Yuletide cheer and Epsom salts. An Epsom salt bath
Take it from Scott.
is the best thing in the world.
They need it after that.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you both on. Keep up the great work. Have some great shows and break legs.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care, y'all.
You do. We've got to take a break. And when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments of Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Hi, I'm Cliff Kelly, the governor of talk radio. What's Cliff Stakes? Well, it's a thought-provoking, insightful political conversation with invited panelists and listening audience participation to discuss and address issues that inform how we make decisions.
Join Cliff Kelly every Sunday evening at 7, right here on WCPT 820. Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too. Because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Attention Chicagoland car buyers. Get Black Friday specials all month long at Hawk Volkswagen of Joliet during the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event. Choose from a huge selection of new Volkswagen models like Jetta, Tiguan, Taos, Atlas, and Atlas Crossport and pay nothing out of pocket. Just sign then drive or take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months on new Volkswagen models. You don't have to wait. Beat the crowds and drive home today. No one in the Chicagoland area sells more new Volkswagen models than Hawk Volkswagen of Joliet. Combine that with outstanding customer service, and it's easy to see why we have been the #1 volume Volkswagen dealership in Illinois for the last 5 years in a row. Hawk Volkswagen on Jefferson Street in Joliet. Online at hawkvw.com. Available on select new Volkswagen models with approved credit, plus tax, title, license, and doc fee. Must finance through Volkswagen Credit. See dealer for details. #1 claim based on 2016 to 2020 retail sales. Expires 11/30/21.
Welcome back. I'm Fazia Mirza. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff and Ella Miller just chatting along about what we're doing for the holidays.
Yep. They're here.
They're here with
they're
a vengeance.
Here, and they're gone before you know it. It's
Yeah.
like all this anticipation. And then,
And speaking of here and gone, we have to talk about Stephen Sondheim.
Yes, sad.
Died on Friday.
He lived a good life. He was 91, and he found his joy in later years when he came out and he got married in 2017.
I know.
So, he waited a while to find his happiness.
I know. Stephen Sondheim changed the face of musical theater.
He did.
Forever. Forever. He was the bridge between old school, good old-fashioned book musicals and what is appropriate to write about as a play, as a piece of theater, as a piece of art. And he bridged the gap into this ushered in a whole new way of thinking and a way of seeing and a way of doing. He, for me, as an actor, as a good little gay boy growing up in the suburbs of St. Louis, Stephen Sondheim was my touchstone. He was the American theater to me. He was just incredible. He was one of the few people who was actually served as a composer and a lyricist. Mm-hmm. His body of work is just incredible. I'm so sad that he wasn't able to wait until to have the release of the new version of West Side Story.
West Side Story, yeah.
That's coming out on Christmas.
Yeah.
That was his first job. He wrote the lyrics for that. Mm-hmm. Because his mentor was Oscar Hammerstein.
Yeah.
It's hard to say how much my Facebook feed was just filled with tributes and in memoriam.
Yeah, I had quite a few friends. Kate Butticky as a mutual friend, and she was in one of his shows. And
she did Gypsy, but she wrote the lyrics. That was his second job.
And hearing about her experiences, and so many people were really moved by him. My mom was a big Sondheim fan. She did community theater growing up, and ladies who lunch, she'd be singing songs from Company and Follies, and she was in Gypsy, and she was in all three shows in local theater growing up. So I wasn't aware as a kid that it was Sondheim. I just was aware of those songs and how much she loved them. And just, it's amazing how many people he affected in such a profound way.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a teacher,
And theater.
And I taught theater to students in high school. And I remember my first year around Halloween, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show them Sweeney Todd. Because if you look, you can find there are video productions of live productions. So you can find Into the Woods. There's one of Sunday in the Park with George with Bernadette Peters and Mandy Patinkin.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Sweeney Todd with Len Cariou not Len Cariou, George Hearn and Angela Lansbury. And if you aren't familiar with Sweeney Todd, Sweeney Todd is the story of a murderous barber who comes to seek revenge for the people who killed his wife, and they end up putting them into pies. It is dark, it is gory, it is macabre, and my kids fell in love with it.
Some people, it's their favorite play. It's their favorite play. And it's
one of mine. Because it is so... It's ghoulish. It's a melodrama.
Yeah.
It's
unlike anything you'd seen before.
Yeah, it broke the mold. It's like, this is what is acceptable to have on stage. There was murder. There was, there's so much cannibalism. There's so much, and it was all so tongue in cheek, yet at the same, and so smart. His music was you could tell he was influenced by Leonard Bernstein because of his work with West Side Story. Mm-hmm. You could hear, but his lyrics are the ones that that really hit close to home. They are so smart, so beyond clever, and it tells so much about the character and about their world and about their experience. And I was so sad. It sounds so, especially, as somebody who, came out later in life. He said he never fell in love until he was 60. Mm-hmm. He never truly fell in love until he was 60. He came out, he was married, and it's a huge blow. It was, Company, which is now having a
revival on Broadway.
Yes, but
Patti
now,
LuPone.
Yep, but it's now they reversed the gender roles.
Bobby is now a woman. Mm-hmm.
Who played by Katrina. She won the Tony for The Band's Visit. She's a Chicago actor as well. Katrina Lent, I think is her name. And actually, my friend's husband is in the cast. But to talk about to break form. Company, which was about a single man surrounded by all of his married friends, and it was about relationships and about what love is, and it was told through vignettes, not a traditional linear narrative. Mm-hmm. That was him, and helped that because of that we have a chorus line. There are things that what he was doing, he was pushing the envelope and teaching audiences how to see shows differently.
Yeah, true. That's so true.
It's like he's left an indelible mark. Sunday in the Park with George. Anybody who does any sort of creative expression, who considers himself an artist, whether it be a musician, a writer, a painter, a sculptor, a theater artist, whatever it is, that it's all about creativity and about what the sacrifices you make in order to make your art and to say your truth. It's one of my most favorite shows ever. Have you ever seen Sunday in the Park with George?
I have not.
It's beautiful. It's based on the painting Sunday Afternoon on the Isle of the Grand Jatte, which is actually hanging air in our
at the Art Institute. Yes,
and it follows Act 1 is George Seurat as he is painting it, coming up with something new, like Sondheim, coming up with a new way to tell stories. He was coming up with a new way to paint. The pointillism, the way that you were able to, there's not a single brushstroke. It's all dots.
Yeah.
And then of course, tongue in cheek, the main heroine played by Bernadette Peters. Dot. That's her name. But you get to see. But it's all about the creative world and the creative process and how we value art, and do we value art, and do we value artists? And there's something just so wonderful that I think our country, he won the Pulitzer for that particular piece.
In 1985, yeah.
And I don't know. I could just ramble on for days about
he was so original and so unique, and people related to it and loved his work. Both.
I got to do Into the Woods when I was in high school, which is a mashup of fairy tales. It's like what happens if Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, all meet up. But they also created an original story of a baker and his wife, and they want to have a child, their journey to have a child. And the valuable lessons, because German fairy tales, moral lessons, they were, they were very dark.
They were.
Usually
like Grimm. Are the Grimm brothers British or German?
German.
They're German too. Yeah. The Grimm was very,
Yeah, but they usually ended in something very macabre happening to scare the crap out of kids so that they don't stray from the path. So they don't,
Those Germans, they know how to bring up those kids.
They do.
Strict.
But it's such a beautiful... It's a beautiful play and beautiful words. You have to remember, someone is on your side. No one is alone. Like there are. I'm getting all teary now.
I know you are.
Yeah, he was a huge influence on me, and again on the face of American theater. And without him, we would not have Six on Broadway.
Yeah.
We would not, we wouldn't have these new forms of theater and new ways of thinking. So if you haven't been, if you aren't familiar with Stephen Sondheim and his work, check it out. There are film versions of many of his things, but there are also you can find performance videos of, like I said, particularly Sunday in the Park with George, with very young Bernadette Peters and Mandy Patinkin at his most. Mandy Patinkin, just incredible. There's Into the Woods and Sweeney Todd. There's also he wrote a musical about the people who tried to assassinate the president. It's called The Assassins, and it takes a look at all of these different individuals, and to understand why they did what they did. And it all boils down to the promise of the American dream that they never thought was fulfilled.
Sounds familiar.
It's very powerful. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. So I'm just being all teary-eyed over here.
And of course, Send in the Clowns, the song that...
A Little Night Music. What a gorgeous...
From the play,
There's a beautiful
music.
production of that from the Met that happened in the 80s. If you can try to find that, I think it's on YouTube. Stunning. Gorgeous. Wonderful. Anyway, there we are.
But he lived you take solace in the fact that he was 91 and anything
91, and he had just gone to Thanksgiving dinner with his friends the night before.
I didn't know what the cause
They never said what the cause of death was.
Recall.
They didn't say. It was, but it was just that it was sudden, unexpected, and that he passed away peacefully.
Yeah, when you're over 90, things happen that are sudden and unexpected.
Yeah,
but at least we all have to go, and if you go that way, and it is a very beautiful way to go.
And he was truly a light, and to tie that into Hanukkah,
happy first day of Hanukkah.
Happy first night of Hanukkah, which is also like a wonderful way to show light triumphing over darkness.
Yes, indeed.
We spoke about it briefly last week, but there's this wonderful series on Hulu called Taste the Nation. It's with Padma Lakshmi, who's the cookbook author, host of Top Chef.
Padma. Some just call her Padma.
Some just call her Padma because
like I do.
We went
first
to
name basis with
me
her.
and Padma. I just want her to be my best friend.
Me too. Kathy likes her a lot too.
I love her, and she's so pretty.
She is.
But she's also really super smart, and she does these wonderful shows. Taste the Nation's in 2 different seasons. The first one, it's all about what is American food. That's kind of like the question of what the series is. What makes American food American? And it's all the influences of different cultures that makes American food American. And in the second season, it's all about the holidays and about exploring the different holidays that happen. So there's one that the first one is they explore Hanukkah and how Hanukkah, which is a minor holiday within the Jewish religion, and how it has become a very big deal here in America, particularly simply because of its proximity to Christmas and the ridiculous marketing and
of gifts.
Commercialization and all that stuff that's happened and the bastardization of that holiday. But they look at what it meant for immigrants coming over to this country and to be in a place kind of like Paradise Square that we talked about last week, where you are in a close quarters and close proximity to so many different cultures and so many different immigrant experiences and how that influences your holidays. And to show, because the whole holidays about the Maccabees overcoming the Greeks, where they are able to have their temple. And the oil that was supposed to last for one night lasted 8. And to see the lights in the windows of your community, to see, to aid, not to show just like I am a Jew and I am proud, but also to show light coming through, to show darkness, and celebrating that through food, and how you would have, an Irish family giving food to the Jewish family, and separating, and how the cultures kind of mesh together. It's just fascinating. And I think we need to really, really take stock right now and to make sure that light is triumphing over darkness.
To that, Scott.
So as we head into this season of Hanukkah, whether you celebrate or not, be a light.
Absolutely.
Be that light. That is what I'm trying to say right now.
That's a beautiful sentiment to end our show on today.
There we are. And I want to thank all of our guests who have been nothing but a perfect light. Bruce Koff from Rainbow Railroad, author William Jack Sibley, and of course actors Daniel Playhall and Christopher Weyland. Just wonderful. Devin, you are incredible. Thank you for running the show, being in brilliant. Dylan, thank you for running all the social media over there and not being Paul. That's the best part. Ella Miller, I'm so glad that you had a beautiful Pie Day, Pie celebration. And I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thanks. Same to you, Scott.
Thank you so much. And I am Scott Duff. And until next week, stay proud.
The David Pakman Show.
Anecdotally, people have written to me and they've said, listen, David, my employer